I'm scared.
Why are you scared?
I don't know, but your mic's about to hit me. Did you go to
Turn
Dollarama? It doesn't even fit your
turn
head.
to the side a little bit.
Fire. It's fire.
I would not touch it with a barge pole if I'm Carlo Ancelotti. I wouldn't.
What's going on, everybody? It's your boy Elisha here, and welcome back to another episode of Through Ball. I hope you missed us because we missed you, even though it's only been 1 week. But as always, I am joined by the very best, most fabulous in the game, Kaylin Kyle, Darian Jenkins. How we feeling? How we doing today?
I'm absolutely buzzing. I feel like a lot has gone on in a short amount of time, so I can't wait to dive into it.
Yeah, it's been a packed week. We got a lot to go into, so I'm hyped.
Yes, very, very packed week. Less than 50 days away from the Club World Cup coming right here on DAZN. This summer, we got the semifinals of the Champions League. We got domestic leagues coming to an end.
Look at your
There's
smile.
a lot going on.
Look at
I'm
your
excited.
smile.
I'm excited. Let's get into it. As always, this is VAR, where we review and we talk about all of our favorite moments from the past week. There's been a lot going on. What do you guys have to talk about? Actually, I want to go first. I'm sorry. I know it's ladies
second,
first.
men
It's ladies first. I know that chivalry isn't dead. I swear. It's not dead.
The pump fake.
Can
But
I
I gotta
just
go
say
first.
something?
I gotta
Can I
go
just say
first.
something? Yours better be fire. Or guess what? The remainder of the weeks, you're going last every single time.
It's fire. It's fire. Football Club Barcelona.
Of course.
The dominance over Real Madrid this whole season. We're 3-0. 3-0 right now. 3 games, 3 wins in our Clásico, and we still got one more. Lamine Yamal even talked about it.
No,
They
he's
asked
balling.
him in the press conference. They said, hey, in the capital right now, they're not too fond of you. They're saying you're too arrogant. You're dyeing your hair blonde before in the Clásico.
No,
What's going
I
on?
love
Usually
it.
that happens after you win.
Can I say something about the dyeing the hair blonde? Hey,
Come on now.
anyone that the blonde, I get you. You know what I love though? He said, I just get bored at home. So I want to change up my hairstyle and it's just like bypass the time.
He
You
switches
do
the
you.
braces. He switches the
Yes.
hairstyle. I'm with it.
Reminder, he's still just 17 years old. The kid, he's a
What were
child.
you doing when you were
He's a kid.
17?
Uh,
Pass. We'll just leave that out.
yeah, it's just, I don't remember. It was a dark time. I remember this time right now, and I'm gonna remember it for a very long time. 3-0 in Clásicos this season. We got one more coming up. Lamine says, listen, unless y'all are beating me, you can't talk to me. You can't tell me anything. Winners of the Copa del Rey and still got the Champions League and La Liga left. On the way to a treble. Actually, Barcelona is on the way to a treble of trebles because our U19 is on the way to a treble. Our women's team is on the way to a treble.
Yeah.
It's a good time
We're
right
going to get
now.
into that later. I can't wait.
I
I love
know.
that, though. Lamine Yamal has shown that he has, like, ice in his veins. Like, he's only 17, but he's going into interviews being like, yeah, you know, I'm going to let you guys do all the speculating.
Yeah.
We have full trust in what we're doing. And I love that. I never had that confidence at 17.
I
But,
mean, would
he's,
you-
he's winning everything.
Would you not, though, if you're playing for Barcelona? It would be very different, I think, if you're 17 and
True.
let's just say you're playing for Lecce or Real Sociedad. No, I wouldn't put maybe Real Sociedad in it. But I'm just saying, it's just different. Like, if I'm
Yeah.
on Barcelona and I'm a stud, like, for me, he's one of those players, and we speak about, I speak about it every week, that we're so lucky to have Cristiano Ronaldo, Lionel Messi in our era. But, like, now Lamine is going to be that next generational talent where we're going to be talking about him for years and years and years to come.
Yes, sir. No rear view mirrors, but he's backing it up perfectly.
I think he was playing on playgrounds.
You
and
like that? You like that? You like
I
that
knew
one?
there was going to be some. It was okay.
Come on
There's
now.
going to be some corny Elijah joke coming in there. Someone that's not corny. I'm going to switch over to my VAR moment. Cody Gakpo this weekend with
Yeah,
Liverpool.
sick.
First of all,
Yes.
them winning in dominant fashion against Tottenham, holding up a trophy at home at Anfield. The beginning of the game, it's a sea of red. You can almost feel the emotion of the players as watching them walk on the pitch. But Cody Gakpo, he scores the 3rd goal in the match, and he takes off his kit and runs over, and he does the iconic Kaká celebration from the Champions League final when they beat Liverpool. He scored 2 goals, and it says, I belong to Jesus.
Yeah.
And the fans just go crazy. The energy's electric. And this is a young guy for
Shout
Liverpool.
out to Cody, man.
Shout out to Cody Gakpo. Like, this moment is not only just big for him personally, but for this club. You're now tied with Manchester United with 20 titles. It was huge. So that's my VAR moment of the weekend because it's chills. Like, that's what you dream of being a footballer is moments like that.
It is true.
You know, it's a lot of people out there who are trying. There's a big narrative going on the internet that, like, this one doesn't really matter. So all the other Premier League
Ugh.
fans are trying their best to just ignore
Oh, this sounds
everything
bitter.
Liverpool.
It is bitter.
They're hate watching.
Yeah,
They're hate watching a
that'd
lot
be
right
bitter
now.
too.
But well deserved.
Yeah.
I mean, yeah, they're champions again, and they're breaking
deserve
records,
it.
and yeah, they deserve it.
Can I take us from England over to Italy? Because this is my VAR moment.
Okay, take us.
Secretly,
Ciao.
ciao Bella. I loved living in Italy. I lived there for just over a year,
Ooh.
and then so I'm just
Where
throwing in there.
hasn't Kaylin
I
lived?
lived in a lot of places. I don't know if that's a good thing or a bad thing, but I look at Cesc Fabregas and what he's done. Okay, so I was a massive fan of him as a player,
Yes.
and I think the
Me
biggest,
too.
yeah.
Mhm.
Of course you were. The,
Yeah,
the
yeah,
biggest
no, I got it.
difference is like, when you see players retire and they go into media or they go into other things and you're like, oh, great. But when they go into coaches, it's a different ballgame because a lot of people think that it's an easy transition, that it's going to be smooth sailing and they understand the game. They've played in the biggest games. They've won the biggest tournaments. They've won the biggest titles. They've played for the national team, but
Yeah.
it's not. It's so difficult as a former player to then be able to manage players, to be able to tactically understand different games from different genres or
Yeah.
different teams or,
And the
different
game
tournaments.
evolves from when you were playing.
Yeah.
To,
And I look at Cesc with Como. He goes in as an assistant coach. Then he takes in as the head coach was fired. So he goes in as interim manager. He's trying to get his coaching licenses done along the way. So he gets his pro. So he's able to manage in a top flight league. He then does that. He gets promotion. Like, it's insane to see what he has done in a short amount of time.
yeah.
And he's also just such a likable guy as well. Like, how he's managing the players, how he's playing, and even seeing the player interviews, like at the training facility or after games. It's just like, those are players that want to play for a manager.
Yeah.
So like, I look at that and it's not an easy transition. You look at Thierry Henry where, he's gone from a top player in the world to a
Yeah.
manager and he's almost made that look seamless. You look
Mhm.
like Zinedine Zidane, same thing.
Yeah.
He's made that look seamless. But then you look at a Wayne Rooney. It's been a difficult situation. A Gary Neville, that was a difficult situation as a top player, then going manager. It's not always, black and white with these players when you retire and then go into a managerial side. So fair play to them. Obviously, it's
Shout out to Como and
Como.
Fabregas.
Who doesn't want to
it's
play
been fun.
there? Sign
They're-
me up.
Right, and they're one of the teams too. It's like a Wrexham where the story galvanizes so many
Mhm.
people that you look at the sidelines or you look at who's up at the games,
it's
and it's
crazy.
all these like crazy
Celebrities.
A-list celebrities. But
Yeah.
that's what gets people bought into
Who was
the
it?
game
Terry
more
Crews?
worldwide.
The other day
Terry
with-
Crews was
with
there
Terry on
with
it?
Titi.
Yeah.
Yeah.
What was he trying to do? He was trying to do like the
Yeah,
the
the-
thing?
I don't even want
I
to
have
try
too
to
much
do
Botox on my face. I can't do it. But
that was actually
Yeah,
decent.
that's
That was.
how much have you been practicing for this show for that moment?
I've been a lot. This is Onside and Offside. This is the segment where I will give you a take, and sometimes it comes from my brain, sometimes it comes from the internet. Most of the time, it comes from Eric, our producer Eric. But as always, my lovely co-host will tell me, am I bugging, am I tripping, am I crazy, am I onside or offside? And today, starting off, speaking of Wrexham, speaking of underdogs, Wrexham, who have just been promoted, and they've been consistently getting promoted 3 years in a row. They've been promoted to
First
the
time
champ.
ever
First
in
time
history.
ever. Yes.
That's crazy. I had to throw that in
Been
there.
promoted to the championship. In the next 3 years, within 3 years, Wrexham will be in the Premier League. Onside or offside?
I'll say onside.
I'm
yeah,
onside.
Onside.
They gonna
Onside
keep-
all
they
day
gonna
long.
keep-
gonna keep
I'm not
leveling.
even, I mean,
Level up, level up, level up.
I wouldn't even be shocked in the next 2 years, even next year. Genuinely.
You think next year?
I'm not kidding. When you look at Wrexham, no. Let me just do some backstory. And it's not because Ryan Reynolds is Canadian and I'm Canadian. He had said,
You give yourself up every single
I know I
time
do.
because I forget that they're Canadian.
I love being Canadian. Let's just be completely honest. I'm American though, through and through. I got 2 American
You
boys.
love everything about it.
Yeah, I love everything about it. I love bagels, baggus. Anyways, back to my Wrexham take.
Yes.
I just think when you do have an owner come in, like a lot of owners come in and they're just like happy to like own a professional football club. We talked about this last week
Yeah.
of like more professional footballers buy into clubs. I think people that are truly invested in not only the growth of soccer around the world, but truly invested on winning. And that's what Ryan Reynolds has done with their ownership group. They've come in and they've been promoted 3 years in a row. The first time
Yes.
that that's ever been done before. So that just goes to show how much they're willing to invest in a club, how
Yeah.
much they're willing to grow the club, and
Mhm.
how much they're willing to invest further down the line. So I'm not going to be shocked when they do get into the championship that they'll bring in maybe a Jamie Vardy as their
Yeah.
striker, because
Yeah.
that's something
Yeah.
that,
Mhm.
you know, they're not
Oh, I
scared
like
to
that
do. They're
take.
not
Yeah.
scared to spend the money to get promoted. Now,
Mhm.
what I will say is the championship is a very different ball game.
But I will ask you too: is it easier to go from third division to second, or from second division to first? So from the championship to the Premier League.
I think
I think
going into Premier League will be the hardest.
Okay.
The look at the financials behind a Man United to a Wrexham. Yeah, sure, Ryan Reynolds has a lot of money, but there's
Mhm.
also a lot more
So it comes down to the
restrictions.
money.
See, no, I think
It comes down to money. It comes down to now new restrictions that are going to be in
Mhm.
this new tier. Players that you need to acquire, like a Jimmy Vardy. I really love that shout
Mhm.
going to Wrexham. I can totally see that happening. But that is such a big adjustment against different competition that's been there, that
Yeah.
knows how this league works, that's there with the physicality, the mentality that it takes. I think it's going to be a couple years.
I will say one word answer: in our lifetime, will we see Wrexham win the Premier League?
no.
No.
That's
Oh,
where I'll put my
okay.
no.
I believe Wrexham. I think we're gonna see it. All right. Well, speaking of English football, obviously Liverpool have just been crowned champions
Mhm.
of the Premier League. Right now, they're tied in Leagues Cup with Manchester United at 20. In the next 3 years, the take is Liverpool will surpass Manchester United in total trophies. Onside or offside?
Onside.
Onside,
I
yeah.
don't even need to say anything to back it up.
Yeah, I think United's gonna come around and maybe top 8 again in the next 3 years. Do I think they're gonna surpass Liverpool? Absolutely
Yeah,
not.
no.
They just re-signed everybody.
Football is such an unpredictable game.
You think
Like it
Amram can
takes.
get the players he needs in 3 years to flip United from what we see now?
Okay, think about it. Look at how.
Who in United, let me ask you a question before you answer that. Who
Okay.
in United in the starting
Mhm,
11, other than
mhm.
Bruno, are
Okay.
you taking in your starting 11 in your top 6 teams in the EPL? Answer: no one. There you go. But this
Okay.
is the
Okay.
point.
I'm just asking. I'm just asking. But I do know that it's such an unpredictable game. Look at how from the mountaintops Man City fell down so
Had
hard this
numerous
Well,
season.
and
So
Nottingham
you-
Forest, I
yeah.
get it.
So
But I want you to
you
answer
know,
mine. Do you
never
think
know.
that he'll have the team he wants to
Not
play in
next
that
year.
system?
Not next year. Maybe the next 2 or 3 years. Yeah, why not? It's Manchester United. It's one of those clubs that no matter how bad they are, players are still attracted to playing for this club. So it's like even if it's
Are
like
they-
Barca,
yeah, the
it's like Barca.
legacy.
Even if you can't afford
Are they
certain
still
players,
now though? Like if I'm a player
so.
and if I'm a
I think
player,
it's like a Real Madrid. Like,
yeah,
that's an iconic thing to
but
go
if
play
you're a
for.
player and a top player that's going to be the game changer for United, and someone comes to you and they're like, "Do you want to play for Barcelona, Real Madrid, or United? Who are you picking?" United's going to be your third
Me.
It
pick.
depends. You could play, you could be a Real Madrid and be on the bench.
Yeah.
And some of them would rather play for a mid-tier United
No, get
than a
outta
top-tier
here. That's-
Real and stay on the bench.
I'm going to stop you there. No top player in the world wants to sit on. No, you'd rather sit on the bench for a Barcelona or a Real Madrid that are going farther in the Champions League
No
than
way.
a
But
I
Man
think,
United.
whoa.
Really?
As an
Yes.
example, Eden Hazard, Chelsea legend. We saw him go from an absolute legacy he left
Yeah.
to then pretty much a
To be
gold
fair,
cage at Real Madrid, and he hardly played. And then he ended up just bowing out and retiring.
Yeah,
We
he-
didn't get to
To be
see
fair,
him.
he looked like
with
he
a
was
ton
okay
of
with.
trophies in his locker, and
I
now
don't know.
he's sipping. Well, I mean, when I saw him at Soccer Aid last year, he was on my team, and he was looking all right to me. I'm very happy with life. So
All right, going over to France for this one. Paris Saint-Germain obviously doing very well this season. They're in the semifinals of the Champions League. They're going on up. They're on their way to a treble also right after Kylian Mbappe leaves them for Real Madrid. So the take is PSG are better without Mbappe. Onside or offside?
you're crazy.
Onside.
What?
I agree. Raise that flag, girl.
I'm raising it.
Really?
Give us why.
What you
And
mean?
anytime you have Kylian Mbappe, he's one of the best players in the world. So that's like saying your team's better without Cristiano Ronaldo. That's like saying your team's better without Lionel Messi. At PSG, at that moment in time, they had too many big personalities and big superstars within that team. And they didn't have a best 11. Like when you have a Kylian Mbappe, he is your focal point. He is your Erling Haaland for Man City in a different way, if that makes any sense. But I just feel like PSG in the last 5 years, other than this year, it's been turmoil. They brought in the wrong players. They brought in the wrong personalities to be able to mix and match. And now he's gone to a team where you do have Carlo Ancelotti, that is one of the best managers in the world. He's won at every single league that he's gone to. Your team's always going to be better with Kylian Mbappe in your team. And if you don't agree with that, you're crazy.
I guess I'm crazy.
Yeah,
You're crazy.
I guess I'll take this. I'm good with being
Go
this
ahead.
kind of crazy because you look at the way that the other players are thriving. Like now there's room for a Desiree Doué, a Barcola. We see Vitinha. We get the best out of these players. Dembele can play a little bit more free anywhere he wants on the pitch. Whereas I agree, Mbappe is one of the best players in the world. I'm a big Mbappe stan. We know this. It's been a rough couple months at Real Madrid. But you have to completely change the way you play with him on your team.
But you do that with
why we're
every
seeing
single
it with
superstar.
But we're seeing that with
And
Real
that's a good
Madrid.
manager.
That's why it's been such a struggle. It's still champagne problems with all those players. And PSG, the way that they play way more as a team now, that full force attack, I think they're night and day better without Mbappe there.
I think it's tough to say because they didn't have that specific cast, that specific lineup of players when Mbappe was there. Like, there's a lot of the younger player who have now taken a starting role because he's not there anymore.
Yeah, there's
so it's
room.
really tough to say. And I get your point.
But there was always
it's
there
one
is
of the
room,
greatest
but
players
it
on
was
earth.
just different personnel. Like
Yeah.
you had players that didn't. Lionel Messi, he came out publicly and said it.
I don't know. I do feel like, again, as one of
Take
the
a
best,
stance.
one of the best players
sit on the
on earth
fence.
right now. Like
Don't
it
sit on
has
the
to.
fence.
I'm not sitting on the fence. I'm trying to hop over it. I'm trying to pick a side. I'm trying to hop. I got my
Get the
loafers
left
on.
leg over
I'm trying
and
to
come
hop.
on over to the dark side.
I do think they are better without Mbappe, but I don't think it's because of Mbappe. That's where I'll leave it at.
I don't mind that.
All right. Well, obviously, there's been a lot of back and forths with Ancelotti and Brazil and Real Madrid, and it's a toss in the air right now. There's a lot going on. However, if Carlo Ancelotti becomes the
I'm already
next-
going to go offside. I don't even know what you need to say. Don't go there. Go on.
If Carlo Ancelotti becomes the next Brazil manager, they will win the World Cup in 2026. Onside or offside?
Offside. Carlo Ancelotti is one of the best managers in the world. I absolutely love him. I love everything he does. He's an amazing man and manager. He's tactically incredible. He listens to his players, which is not a normal thing to do because a lot of coaches have egos. And you saw that with Real Madrid for so many years when Marcelo was there. I remember vividly the one Champions League final, and I think it was Marcelo that, was like a tactical adjustment of sub someone in. I forget exactly what it was. But I'm like, that's a manager that has full faith in his players. I think this would be not a disaster for Carlo Ancelotti, but why would you take a team with Brazil that's arguably one of the most exciting national teams that was electric to now one of the worst Brazilian teams we have ever seen, ever, talent-wise, skill-wise, on the pitch? I would not touch it with a barge pole if I'm Carlo Ancelotti. I wouldn't.
But if not him, then who?
Then who?
Like, who would have that? Who would have the courage to even approach that situation? And I am on the side of only Brazilians should manage Brazil. I do heavily
Get
believe
outta
that.
here.
I don't think. I
This is
think
a big
only
topic. We could do a whole show
I think
about.
only a
So you think
brasileiro should
Pochettino
coach
shouldn't
Brazil.
match as the U.S. men's national team?
I think the U.S. is different.
How is it different? It's a football team.
I just think for Brazil,
Our culture
it runs in their
US
blood.
culture's just different.
Jogo bonito. It's just, it only makes sense for a Brazilian to manage
I'm gonna go
Brazil.
onside. I think he's the only one that could actually turn this team around.
That you're not wrong with. I do agree with that
I genuinely
point.
think he's the only coach that can truly turn this team around because after watching their last friendlies against Argentina,
Yeah,
that was
it was not. It was
But
not.
why
that was a
would you
disaster.
take it,
They
though?
just lost the heart because he's Carlo Ancelotti. The man can do what he wants.
Yeah, it's
But
also,
it
I
ends
think
really
the pressure.
poorly
And
after
you
all
wanna-
the
you wanna-
success that he's had.
But you want to coach in a World Cup. And you get to coach the iconic Brazil.
Yeah.
I mean, I think he's somebody that can galvanize the team, get them together, switch this mentality around, and
I understand that, but they
We
don't
need to have a
have
bet
the
going.
talent.
But I think the
I
pressure.
understand
do
of
think they- I
galvanizing
do
a
think
team,
they have
but
the talent.
Brazil working to win a World Cup, this is not a Brazil team that has the talent to win a World Cup in 2026.
I disagree. I think they have the talent.
Who?
The entire team. Look at these players. He coaches half of them
I
on
think.
Real Madrid.
I think also
half
he's.
of them are in Champions League right now.
Yeah, I also think he's gonna have a much more strategized, a better selection of players because whoever that last selection of players were in the last international break, there was a whole lot of them from from the Brazilian league, and they just were not like they
weren't up to
just
par
they were
against an
not up to
Argentinian
par.
team.
Yeah,
That was
it just wasn't it. So I think
came
also
to
he's
fight.
gonna come in with a different approach, a different set of players, and
a
a few
different
of them
style.
a few of them he's managed also, especially in the offense. So he knows how they play. I think I'm not saying he's gonna win the World Cup, but I think that Brazil are gonna look.
Do they get out of their group?
Yeah.
in the World Cup?
Absolutely,
Yeah.
absolutely, yes. With Ancelotti, yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Let us know. It's an interesting conversation. Let us know in the comments. What do you think? Can Brazil win this next 2026 World Cup if Ancelotti manages them? Maybe. I don't know. It's exciting though. Yes, this is MOTM, Man of the Match. This is where we highlight the players, male or female. It could be anybody. It doesn't have to be a man. Player of the moment, where we highlight somebody that we feel like was outstanding in the past week. And I got to get this one started with, and sometimes they don't get enough credit, a goalkeeper, none other, Gianluigi Donnarumma for PSG. 5 big saves against Arsenal in the first leg of the semifinals of the Champions League. The guy's a brick wall, okay? He's an octopus. He's strong, super tall for no reason at all. And again, at this size, you're not supposed to be that quick. His wrists are made of steel. It feels like every time the ball hits his hand, it just doesn't move. It stops it dead on the spot. And yeah, he's been a big instrumental part of why PSG are in the position that they are. Obviously, the offensive players, the Désiré Doué, the Barcolas, the Dembeles, of course, but Donnarumma deserves a lot of credit. And I do think that, again, some of these big saves he's made make a difference, can make or break a game.
Made a
like
difference.
a 1-0 win against Arsenal.
There was a lot of people saying Arsenal, could have won that game 2-1. It could have been 2-2. Could have, but it was because of good goalkeeping on both ends. Let's be completely honest.
Yeah,
but
right. Had
Donnarumma
some great
was
saves, too.
unbelievable in that game, and I love that you spoke on like the strength and his ability for that quick twitch reaction, like to be able to do that, but then generate the power for your bottom arm, your top arm to tip it out of danger's way. Like it was like a cat. Genuinely, I was like, what am I watching?
That's a cougar.
I was like, what am I watching here? But he not only saved the game, he made the game, and that's exactly why PSG won. There was a brilliant play, don't get me wrong. PSG were the better team in the first 35 minutes. We're all over the pitch, sucking Arsenal out, quick in the counterattack, but then so good just playing out of the back, finding their midfield platforms. But goalkeeping won that game for me.
But a big thing for me that Donnarumma brings to that team, because they are so young and have so many good players, but they have a lot of holes in the back line, similar to Barca, where they get sliced and diced a little bit back there. But when you have somebody as Donnarumma with that mentality, yes, the strength, yes, the physicality, yes, his goal stopping is amazing, but the mentality, I think, leads that team. That
100%.
him making those 5 saves, his 4th clean sheet in the Champions League, is going to give them the edge in the second leg too.
I feel like he got a lot of heat for leaving AC Milan to go and take the PSG job. Sometimes we forget that he's much younger, and because he
How
started.
old is he now?
He's 26 years old. He's way younger.
If
than
he's 26,
seems.
I'm 22. I want to see passports. Is all I gotta say.
But I feel like a lot of times we just forget that he's young, and he's taking on like the pressure very well, especially coming from Serie A. Like Italian fans don't play,
No.
so when they don't like you and they're coming for you, like
It's
it could be a
yeah.
lot of pressure. And he's
26.
been accommodated to PSG very well, and 26 years old.
And PSG's
He
not an
doesn't hold
easy
himself
place.
like 26.
Yeah.
No.
Yeah.
Genuinely, and this isn't any
Say, look,
disrespect, because
doubling down.
I know age is just a number and we're all aging like a fine wine, but like genuinely, I thought he was in his 30s.
Yeah. I mean, hey,
I'm serious,
so
man.
I'm not bugging.
It's not a bad thing because he's playing like as if he's played years and years and years. This is a
Instigator,
very
you just
this is a very respectful. You're not in your 30s yet, are you?
I just turned 30.
Oh my God, you're a baby. What are you, Elijah?
I'm old enough. That's what I am.
You're with me? Are we the same age? What year were you born?
Might be.
I need to check
Not gonna
passports. Bring the passports out.
Speaking of players making a switch, but we're just going to focus on the now. Gyökeres. I feel like every week on the show I have talked about
You've
him.
talked about.
I feel like because you just like doing this.
I do love doing the Bane thing because it's such a badass celebration.
We
I'm
need
like,
a compilation
I wish
of
I had
all the
some-
times
Yeah,
that
I say
Darian
it.
has made it.
Yeah. It's just Darian in different sick fits going
Yeah.
like this.
just doing the Bane. Okay, but the man scored 4 goals against
Yeah.
Boavista
It's a
this
joke.
weekend on Sunday. And watching him play, He just looks like he isn't slowing down. He can go 1v1. He gets on the end of crosses. He goes from distance. His runs are dynamic. His hold-up play, the way he sets everybody else up.
Yeah.
He's unstoppable. So much that he now has scored 52 goals in 48 appearances.
Yeah.
It's insane.
38
With
goals in
scoring.
the league alone.
Yes. Like
Yeah.
he's absolutely unstoppable, and I can't wait to see where he goes next because he has so much momentum behind him that I think any team is pining to have
Look at
him.
he's like Barcelona.
One by the time.
They don't need
They don't
him.
need
go.
him.
I'm thinking of
Come on,
I'm thinking of
Lewandowski
United.
got,
I'm
like, a
thinking
good
of
year left.
Arsenal.
Don't
I'm
go to
thinking of a
United.
team
That's where dreams die.
Lewandowski got one good year left, and then
Sorry.
No, I know
on.
you
You're
got you second.
United top right now, but no.
Sorry, United. I'm not rocking with you.
Yeah.
I'm not doing it. But
on,
he's my man of the match. He's my man of the moment
It's a
right
great
now
one.
because he's unstoppable.
Kaylin,
So can I
who are
do
you
like
highlighting?
men of the match or like teams of the match? I'm gonna,
like
you know
that.
what? I'm throwing in a different ringer because I can do whatever I want. I'm Canadian, so I'm gonna do it.
ain't
Eric's
no-
looking at me and producer like, where are you going? You're off script. Unhinged Kaylin is the best Kaylin. Get a margarita in me and it's game over. I have to go the CONCACAF Champions Cup. It's been wild, and obviously I am from Saskatoon, Saskatchewan, but I grew up playing with the Vancouver Whitecaps. They saved my career because I had a situation in Saskatchewan where, you know, my provincial coach wasn't having me. So Vancouver Whitecaps were like, just come train with us in the summer. And so they literally
Sick.
revitalized my career
Yeah.
and took me from this scrawny little kid, uplifted me, and gave me the platform that I'm at. And now the Vancouver Whitecaps are doing what I always knew that they did because the academy's incredible. Training ground over in Burnaby is amazing. And when you look at the Vancouver Whitecaps and just everything that they've achieved in the short amount of time this season, it's incredible. I mean, final of the CONCACAF Champions Cup, which is insane. And then top of the Supporter Shield, knocking off top teams. Like they haven't played the Galaxies and Montreal, the teams with no wins on the season. They've done it in a fashion where they've been able to rotate their squad. They've been able to travel down to Pumas, Monterrey, and get results. They've been
Yeah.
able to travel because Vancouver, I always say this, like it's beautiful, but it's probably for me one of the most difficult cities to play and live in Major League Soccer because of the travel. And you guys know traveling
it's
across
far.
country from
Yeah.
New
tough.
York to LA at 6.5 hours. Well, put that into Vancouver.
Yeah.
They've been able to do it in Mexico. They've been able to do it in North America. And I just think it's a Cinderella story. And what Sorensen's done there, the new manager after Vanni Sartini, has been incredible.
It's always good to see teams that are unexpected start doing well. I think with MLS though, it's always like a scary situation because you could do so well
Are
throughout
you
the whole
peaking
season,
early?
and then you get to the playoffs and
You
then
took the words out of my mouth.
Yeah.
It's wild. This is why
Yeah.
Major
MLS
League
is
Soccer for me is
crazy.
wild.
Yeah.
Like, because it's not like other leagues around the world. Like genuinely on every single week, we do these preseason predictions and I get
Never get it
crucified
wrong.
because I'm never,
Yeah.
maybe
Yeah,
get
how
like
can you
5 or
guess?
6
Yeah.
right. You don't know. I think that's what makes it so exciting is you genuinely don't know who's going to win. I mean, Nashville, they
Yeah.
just won 7-2 on the weekend.
Listen,
Nashville.
if
That
you're
was
somebody,
wild.
if you're somebody over the past few years who've guessed the MLS playoffs
Buy
correctly,
a lottery ticket.
hit me up.
Yeah.
Let's work on those parlays
Come be on
together.
the show.
Let's do
Yeah,
it.
actually.
Let's make it happen. I got something for y'all.
I'm scared. I'm scared.
Why are you scared?
Because I see the bag.
Where's the bag?
I don't know, but your mic's about to hit me, so get back
No.
here. I hate you. Did you go to
Turn it-
Dollarama?
turn
It
it
doesn't
to-
even fit your
turn it
head.
to the side a little
yeah.
bit. The hair is herring today, which, yeah, there we go. That's swaggy. There.
Is this
Y-
swaggy?
yeah.
No.
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome aboard Air Elisha. We're going to take a little cruise. I am Captain Chocolate, okay? That's my pilot name,
Love it.
okay? And we're just going to take a little trip, okay, around the world right now. And this time, we're talking about world rivalries.
Why are you
The
looking
biggest,
at me?
the biggest derbies, because it's an intense
I
moment.
do.
It's an intense moment, okay? We're talking about the biggest rivalries all across the world.
Okay.
Focus, Darian.
I'm here. This is comedy.
Give us your list.
We have El Clásico,
Mm,
Der Clásico,
mm.
Bayern Dortmund, Super Clásico, which is Boca Junior River Plate.
Mhm.
Oof.
We have the Milan Derby and Manchester United versus Liverpool.
This is tough, but I'm
Mhm.
actually gonna put.
I have my list.
I'm ready for all the hate in the comments already. Just where Man U are right now, that is not the best matchup to
Okay,
me.
whoa,
That
whoa,
is not
okay,
the
so
best
let's
rivalry.
go. Is it ever or
I think
now?
that's a good distinction.
Ever.
Ever. Okay, Darian, go on.
Well, now that
Now
that
it
changes.
changes
'Cause I
you.
was going off of right now.
I still got my list.
Why don't you tell
I'll
us
go
your
first.
list? Yeah, go first.
Number 1, El Clasico.
Yes.
2, Super Clasico. 3, Milan Derby. 4, United Liverpool. 5, Dortmund Bayern. I think that's
Dortmund
very
Bayern
fair.
at 5.
I would have
Yeah.
them at 5 as well. My only one that I'm tossing back and forth, I really like your list, is Boca.
Boca River Plate is intense.
I know El Clasico
It's
around the
intense.
world is like the top, but like the Boca River, like there's nothing like that in the
Yeah.
world, like the stadium.
Yeah.
So like this is my other question. Is it like energy in the stadium or is it like, do you know what I mean?
So here's where
Because I would put Boca probably before
they
Barca.
fall at second for me
Oh, I don't know.
for 2 things. One, because the quality of play in El Clasico is it always tops Super Clasico. 2,
Ooh.
although I
That's a
under
big
has more-
statement, by the way.
2,
The visibility, I think, of El Clasico feeds into.
Well, you're
El
all you're
Clasico.
also a Barca guy.
no, but I've watched River play Boca on numerous times. It just doesn't and there's been some phenomenal matchups between the two, but it just doesn't equate to the same.
El
to the same
Clasico would
when it
be
comes
number
to El
1.
Clasico,
And
yeah.
you had Boca
Second,
and
Milan. Yeah.
I don't
Okay.
disagree.
I'm gonna disagree. Okay, I'm gonna go
Uh-huh.
El Clasico,
Okay.
Super Clasico.
Okay.
Then I'm gonna go United Liverpool. Then I'm gonna go into Italy, and then I'm gonna go into Germany. That's gonna I'm gonna
Why
do
are
mine.
you guys ranking Germany so low?
If there's a game on TV, which one are you tuning into 1st through 5?
I'm not gonna lie, I can't get Man U out of my head right now.
You
Man
have
U
to.
right now.
You have to.
I'm not that interested in it. I think Liverpool's going
Your
to
shirt
dominate.
says
I know
otherwise,
it's gonna.
Darian.
It's Adidas. It is not Man United. Quit putting me in that box. I mean, I love the Dortmund and Bayern matchup.
And again,
I'm gonna
it's
put them
fifth.
at 4 just because I can't get it out of my head. And Man U Liverpool at 5 right now.
Wow.
It's
I
5th,
am.
but it's still in the Mount Rushmore.
It's
That's
still
why
in the
for me it's
Mount
just like
Rushmore,
it's
but-
still up there.
Yeah, and then I'm just
But-
thinking of
Is
like
Mount
Bayern
Rushmore
and
4
Dortmund in
heads or
Champions
5?
League right now.
I think it's 4. I'm not
Okay,
from this
so
country,
there you
so I
go.
don't
You
know.
can drop one if you need.
Well, listen,
All aboard.
it's a train. No.
Oh, yeah,
it's
sorry.
not all of,
You did
it's
say
not. It's a tab.
I'm confused. We got all aboard.
don't
We got
know
we're
if-
cruising.
That's
I
a
don't
good
know
point.
what's
Yeah.
happening.
I'm not going on
We're
a cruise
cruising in
ship.
the air.
I'm not going on a cruise ship. That's all I know. I'm not going on. Couldn't
But let
pay
us know
me.
in the comments also. What's your list? What is your 5-head Mount Rushmore of football derbies? All right, ladies and gentlemen, let's take a little detour over to Portugal. Make sure you buckle in your seatbelts. The flight attendants will come in very soon with some snacks. We're going over to the Portuguese league right now, and it's coming down to the wire. Sporting Lisbon, Benfica, okay, goal differential. It's only 3. Right now, they're tied on points. They only got 3 matches left in the season, and they're also playing each other in the Taça de Portugal. It's the cup. It's Taça, right? I said that right? I said that right, Eric. You know I said that right, yeah. My Portuguese is obrigado. I don't know if I said that. Tudo bem. Yeah, whatever that is. But yes, right now it's coming down to the wire.
are we
Obviously, Guilherme is top in the league right now. Both final matches, both of their last matches ended in huge score lines. Sporting Lisbon won 5-0. Benfica won 6-0. Yeah, goals is not what's missing right now for both teams, and I hope it comes down to the very final match, honestly. It makes
do
things
too.
way more interesting. Again, we talked about Liverpool winning the league earlier. Right now, it's still a toss between Barcelona and Real and La Liga. PSG pretty much got it. As many leagues as possible in Europe that could come down to the final moments, I'm rooting for it. But as it stands right now, though, if it comes down to the goals, yeah, Sporting Lisbon is going to take it. But
Yeah, I think they got it. So you're going with Sporting
yeah.
to win it?
Come on
I'm not
now.
going to do it again because
Do it.
I'm
Come on now.
riding
Do
or
it.
dying with this.
And on May 10th, that's really the box office match right now.
Circle
They
it.
will play each other. May 10th. Mark your calendars. Benfica versus Sporting Lisbon.
Who do you
Y'all
have
see
in the
form?
game? What's your prediction?
Sporting
Sporting.
2-1.
Do it.
I think it's gonna be a little high,
Darian,
more
do
high,
it.
high.
Joker's brace.
I think it might be a Hattie. I think it's actually gonna.
Oh,
Yeah,
damn.
No.
I do.
Against
I think he's
Benfica?
unstoppable. Yeah. I think it's where both teams come out swinging. Maybe I'm gonna say 3-2.
I like a game of goals, so that's fine.
3-2.
Why are you looking? Why
do you
is
stand?
your?
I'm waiting for your
I'm gonna go
response.
Benfica. I'm gonna go against you guys.
I love when you
You
go
think Benfica?
against us.
What's
I'm
the
gonna go
scoreline?
1-0. Close game.
Oh,
1-0 close game.
okay.
Like one of those games where it's like everything's on the line, so there's not going to be a lot of open. It's going to come down to maybe like a set piece opportunity or like a moment of brilliance from an individual player in and around the 18. So I'm going to go low score line.
It's gonna be intense.
And if it's not, I won't be on the next episode. I'll see myself out. Can we get back on your flight? Can we go to Mexico because I love tequila and I love tacos?
Vamos.
Yeah.
Vamos.
Vamos a la Mexico.
Are you going to take us? You want to like strap us in, board us down?
Ladies and gentlemen.
Why are you going backwards now? You got the tag still on it.
we
The tag's still on it.
Can we get a close up?
Right, I'm going to Liga MX because Pachuca downs Monterrey. They were 1-0. Monterrey were 1-0 up 10 minutes to go. Pachuca ended up scoring 2 unanswered goals. Monterrey without Sergio Ramos. They will have an opportunity to advance against Pumas, but Pumas took on Juarez last weekend. It was 1-1. They will be without Martinez, their lead goal scorer, the number 9 leading the line. So I feel like it's very open in Mexico and I feel like anything can happen. And this is what I love about Liga MX is like, it's so passionate, but then the players, it's like, again, it's one of those leagues where I feel like it's kind of changed the last few seasons. You don't know who's going to win. Whereas before it was, your Club America, your Cruz Azules, your top teams in Mexico. And now you have
Chivas.
Yeah. Now you have your Juarez's drawing 1-1. You have, your turnaround with Pachuca. You have your turnaround with Monterrey, bringing in top players like Sergio Ramos. So I think with the Liga MX, it's always passionate football. It's always passionate fans. But I think it just makes it even that much more interesting coming down to the line and coming down to the wire at the tail end of the season. So I feel like anything can happen.
All right, as we get to the end of the show, this is extra time where we give y'all a little bit more, of the crumbs, right? The things that we didn't get to talk about for the bulk of the show. And I can't leave the show without talking about Serie A, without talking about McTominay. Again, another player that left Manchester United and is now doing phenomenal.
How crazy
for
is
Napoli.
that, guys?
Got a brace during their last match for Napoli against Torino, and now they're at the top of Serie A. Inter, unfortunately, lost 1-0 to Roma. And so, again, still very, very close. Just a few games left, and it's going to come down to the end of it. But McTominay, he's doing his thing. He's balling. It's the curse.
Ball energy.
It's the through
yeah.
ball. It's the
If
through
you're
ball.
struggling,
Yeah,
if your
call
team's
us.
struggling, call in. We're like a helpline here,
All
okay?
we got to do is talk about you. But, if you come on, it's extra strength. It's extra power. It's extra magic. So, McTominay, you want to keep that going? Come on, pull up the through ball. I got a hat for you.
With the tags on. Speaking of somebody else that is benefiting from us talking about them on the show, although this girl doesn't need our help. Melchi Dumone scored another goal for Lyon in the Champions League. Sadly, they ended up losing to Arsenal. Lyon, they were all over the place in this match. But on the other side of it, so Arsenal's going through, and on the other side, Barca dominated Chelsea 2-8
When
on
does Barca
aggregate.
not dominate? Genuinely, it's getting
That
wild.
match was actually sick. Barcelona looked like women amongst girls. It was one of those matches where on every facet, the game felt to Barcelona. But the final is on the 24th of May. Arsenal, Barcelona. Arsenal have not been back in years. DAZN, send us. Send us, please. Because
I
it's
love
going to
Women's
be an
Champions
insane
League.
thing. Yeah.
Like,
Women's Champions League is super competitive. And hey, maybe we'll see it on the men's and women's side. Arsenal, Barcelona. When has that ever happened? I feel like that's incredible that both those men's and women's teams are both in Champions League right now.
That is possible.
Yep.
Can I take you back to Major League Soccer?
Of course you can.
Let's bring
Bring
it
us
back
back.
to
Bring
North
us back
America.
home. Bring
Let's
us back
wrap the
home.
show with North America. Sunday night soccer. It takes us to the barbecue capital of North America. I'm probably gonna get crucified because actually I don't eat barbecue, so I don't even actually know. But Kansas City, is
The
it?
barbecue's good.
Is
I
Kansas
played
City
in
like the
Kansas
best
City for a
barbecue?
year.
Never been.
I will say it is.
Okay.
They've got some legendary spots.
Okay, so anyways, I'm going barbecue capital of the world, but Kansas City, Sporting Kansas City welcoming LA Galaxy. And this game, when you're looking at it on paper, you're thinking, oh, how is this a Sunday night soccer matchup? But it's actually really interesting because of the fact of you have LA Galaxy that are MLS Cup winners back in 2024, and they have no wins through 10
Insane.
So
match
brutal.
days.
Crazy.
That's never happened before.
Oh.
And then you're taking on a Sporting Kansas City side that was one of the originals here in Major League Soccer that has so much rich history, that has so much, you know, Major League Soccer history. And then you fire your coach, Peter Vermees, that it's the longest tenure coach ever in Major League Soccer. And they end up getting some results on the back end of it. It looks like they've turned a leaf. I actually think Sporting Kansas City have the upper hand heading into this game, which is crazy
Shoot.
to say about a 6-time MLS Cup champ of the LA Galaxy. So this could be one of those pivotal games where if they win this and they win big or, you know, get the momentum, this could be the game, the changing point in their season.
Yeah, football is a game of momentum.
Mhm.
And sometimes it only takes one and everything changes.
We have so many more games coming up. We got the second leg of Champions League, so there's going to be plenty more to talk about.
And as the seasons are winding down, everything is on the line for a lot of these teams. And also, the FIFA Club World Cup is just around the corner. So drop into our comment section. Is there any teams you want us to dissect, dive a little bit deeper into, maybe a team that you don't know a lot about? Because we know everything in the world of football. Well, if we don't, Eric does, our producer, and he can get on the little keyboard and let us know.
And we will let you know right now, as always, the Club World Cup this summer from June 14th to July 13th, right here on DAZN.com for free. Who doesn't like free? I'll say it every single week. If it's free, it's better. Make sure you tune in to DAZN.com this summer. This has been Through Ball. Caitlin Kyle, Darian Jenkins. It's your boy Elisha, and we'll see you next time. Peace.